Imagine there was a tool that blocks smart contract and DeFi hacks automatically on the blockchain in different techniques. It could be front-running the attack and creating the same attack but rescuing the funds. It could be front-running the malicious transaction with an admin post-transaction to suspend the protocol and prevent the hack from happening and from the liquidity to leaving the protocol, and it could be so many other ways. Hello guys, it's JohnnyTime and welcome to another Web3 security tutorial. And you don't have to imagine, because in this video we're gonna see in action this exact tool that I just described. BlockSec, who rescued more than $14 million from DeFi protocol hacks, are opening their BlockSec Phalcon Block tool to the public. And in this video we're gonna see this super cool tool in action in a live attack that we are gonna replicate, the $7 million hack that happened on HundredFinance this April, and we will see if Phalcon Block by BlockSec is going to block real-time this attack or not. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the tool Phalcon Block, and currently it's not available because it's in a beta version and you need to get permission from BlockSec to access this tool. So if you sign up to Phalcon, this is the page that you're gonna see once you go to the Phalcon Block page. If you want to get access faster and wait less in the waiting list, you can check out the link in the description below, which is a special JohnnyTime invitation link, and once you sign up through this link, BlockSec are going to see that and probably give you faster the access to this amazing Phalcon Block tool. So how does this tool work? As you can see over here, there is a hacker that's sending a malicious transaction that is being added to the mempool. The Phalcon Block detectors are going to automatically analyze every transaction that goes into the mempool and determine whether it's an attack transaction, which means that it's very likely that this transaction is malicious and is going to exploit and steal money from your smart contracts. Maybe it's only a suspicious transaction, which means that it's not 100% guaranteed that it's a transaction that is going to exploit your protocol, but there is likelihood of like 50-60% that it's going to be malicious and exploit your protocol. And the last classification is a regular transaction, which is probably going to be a legitimate transaction that is not going to exploit your protocol. And as I mentioned before, we're gonna dive into the HundredFinance hack that happened in April over here that you can see here in DeFi Llama. We're gonna replicate the exact same protocol and the exact same attack. As you can see, HundredFinance suffered from two hacks in the protocol in 2022 and 2023, and the 2023 hack, which is the one that we're gonna replicate right now, is the most catastrophic because the TVL of the protocol dropped from $10 million to $200K, which is the currently TVL, and the protocol simply died. You can see how important security for Web3 protocols, because they just don't survive. I'm not gonna deep dive into the details and the technicalities of the attack itself, but if you really want to deep dive into the attack, I will leave a link to the post-mortem that you can see right here. It's a very nice detailed article about how the attack took place. And as you can see here, we deployed the exact same HundredFinance vulnerable protocol on Binance Smart Chain. This is the first contract, which is the unit roller. Again, HundredFinance is a compound fork, a big lending protocol that allows depositing and borrowing funds. And you can see that this is the unit roller contract. We have here another one, the comptroller contract, and we have the 100 USDC HUSDC token. Again, in compound it's CUSDC. HundredFinance changed it to HUSDC. So what HundredFinance did, they forked compound protocol and added some functionality, and then they deployed it on multiple blockchains. And this exact contract, this HUSDC CUSDC contract, CERC20 delegator, was vulnerable to this critical attack that led to the $14 million hack. This contract, this HUSDC contract, simply lets users to deposit USDC tokens to the contract and receive the HUSDC, some kind of credit receipt token that they deposited money and it accumulates interest over time. So you lend your money out to HundredFinance and receive this HUSDC token, which you can later on redeem back from the contract and receive more USDC because it accrued some interest. And this smart contract had a logical error, a logical issue and a vulnerability, and a rounding down issue that led to this critical exploit and hack. So the contract that I want to monitor is this HUSDC token. This HUSDC token is a contract that holds the liquidity. In that case, it holds a mock USDC token. It's just a token that we deployed, but in the real scenario, it was the real USDC token, stablecoin with value, with dollar value. And this token, this contract is high value contract that I want to monitor and make sure that its liquidity is safe, that no one is hacking it. There is no malicious transaction is being sent to this contract. So I'm going to copy here the contract address, go back to Phalcon Block and add here a new contract. The network is going to be Binance Smart Chain. I'm going to paste here the contract address, and as you can see over here, it automatically fetches the name of the contract from Binance Smart Chain, from the Blockchain Explorer. But this is only the smart contract name in its solidity, but we want to give it a name that makes more sense for us. Since it's the HUSDC token, HUSDC contract, we want to rename it from this ERC20 delegator to HUSDC, so we know exactly which contract it is. And the contract type, we can give it like kind of a family of contracts. So if we monitor certain protocol, we can put all the contracts under the same contract type. In that case, it's HundredFinance contract. So I'm going to create here a new contract type, and all the HundredFinance contract I'm going to add to this contract type. I'm going to click here submit, and our contract will be added to the contract list in Phalcon Block. Now, obviously, we want to add a monitoring rule. So we want to monitor this smart contract. So in case there is an attack, malicious transaction being sent to this contract, we want to monitor it and we want to catch it and maybe notify our channels. So I'm going to click here, create new monitor, and here we can select the contract. Since we have only one, this is the only one that we have in the list in BSC HUSDC, the contract that we just added. I'm going to select here this contract. And one of the things that we can monitor is the contract balance. It could be the BNB balance because it's Binance Smart Chain, or the token balance. In that case, we have only one token, which is the mock USDC token, and we do want to monitor its balance. So I'm going to select here this USDC token balance in the HUSDC contract, and I'm gonna create here a new monitor. So we can monitor many things like the token amount, the token price, some variables, some events that are being emitted, or someone that is calling certain functions. In that example, in that demo, I want to monitor the token amount. So once the token amount is being changed, once it drops significantly, we have liquidity leaving our smart contract, I want to trigger this monitor rule. So I'm going to select here token amount, click next, and we're going to monitor here the USDC token, click next. We have here around 870k tokens. And as you can see here, this is what I told you before. We can select which transactions we want to monitor. We can either monitor attack transactions, which is very likely that it's going to exploit our protocol, or we can monitor suspicious transactions or regular transactions. Now, I'm not interested in suspicious or regular transaction. Depends how sensitive is this smart contract. You can also tick these ones on. I just want to monitor attack transactions that by the BlockSec Phalcon Block tool eyes are suspicious, are very likely to be suspicious. Now, BlockSec do not expose the methods that they use and the engines that they run in order to determine whether the transaction is attack, suspicious, or regular, but you can imagine it's classified methods, but you can imagine what kind of things they do behind the scene. Maybe they monitor the source of the funds that arrived to the sender of the transaction. Maybe they see if it's a newly deployed contract. Maybe they also analyze its bytecode. Maybe they have some blacklisted addresses that did past attacks. So they are not exposing the way they do it, but it's pretty precise. So if you type here, if you tick here attack transaction, it's most likely that this transaction is going to be malicious and is going to try to exploit your protocol. So we want to tick this attack transaction, and we want to tell BlockSec Phalcon Block if the USDC balance goes by 1% down, which is approximately like $8,000-9,000. We want to trigger and we want to know about it. We want to trigger this monitoring rule. So we mark here attack transaction and 1% USDC decrease and click submit to add this new monitor rule. And now that this monitor rule is being added, we can either set automated defense that we block the attack automatically before it's exploiting our protocol, or we can notify to our notification channels to get notified that someone is trying to attack our protocol. Let's start with the easy one, which is notifications. So I'm gonna add here a new notification channel, and I'm gonna select here email. You can either use Telegram, webhook, Slack, whatever you prefer, whatever is comfortable for you. For the sake of the example, I'm gonna use here email, and I'm gonna type in my email address over here, and let's send an email to verify that this is actually our email. I will receive a code, I will put it here, and then this email will be added to our notification channel. So we paste here the verification code and click here confirm, and now we adding a new notification channel. This notification channel is being saved, and I can click here now submit, and now this new monitor rule is added. Anytime someone sends an attack transaction and trying to drain our USDC tokens from the HUSDC contract, we will be notified to this exact email address. This is beautiful, but we don't want to stop there because it might be too late. Someone might try to hack our protocol, and as we know in Web3, basically hacks are happening very, very fast. We need to be faster than the attacker, and we want to block the attack before it's happening, before it's too late. That's where the defense comes in. Here in the defense section, we can create a new defense that will be triggered when this monitor rule is being detected. As I mentioned before, we can do front running for the attack transaction, and we can either replicate the same attack or just pause the protocol to make sure that the attack will fail. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pause all the lending, all the borrowing in the protocol, in the HUSDC token and the RAP BTC token or whatever tokens that we have, so the attack will not succeed. So the defense name is pause all lending pools, right? The description is like pause HUSDC, RAP BTC. It's going to be HRAP BTC. So basically, we're going to pause all the lending before the attack is being mined and executed and validated in the blockchain. I'm going to click here next. And here we have two options. We can either use pre-signed transaction mode, which basically means that we sign the pause transaction in advance with our private key, with our EOA account, multi-sig wallet, whatever, you name it. And then we give here BlockSec, Phalcon Block, the signed transaction already with the nonce, with everything, with the signature, everything is going to be here. And then it's going to just use the signed transaction to pause the protocol. Or we can use delegation mode, which is a bit more complicated. We're not going to get into this in this video, but maybe in another video in the future, so stay tuned. So I'm going to mark here pre-signed transaction, and I'm going to choose BSC, and here we need to paste the sender address. Who is the account that's going to send this pause transaction? And this is going to be the Guardian EOA account for HundredFinance protocol that we just deployed. And this is our EOA Guardian account. As you can see, it has some BNB, so it can send a transaction. I'm going to copy its address and paste it over here. We click next, and you can see that actually Phalcon Block already fetches the amount of transactions that this EOA account sent over here in the past, all the out transaction, and it already tells us that the next transaction nonce should be 7. If the nonce will not be correct, the transaction will fail. We need to make sure that we create the transaction with the exact same nonce. Here, as you can see, we prepared in advance a pre-signed script that is going to sign the pause transactions, and with our private key, with the right nonce, and you can see here the targets. The targets are the HUSDC and HRAP BTC, the H tokens that we are going to pause in the pool. We also send the transaction to the the controller, as you can see, we send the targets, and we prepare in advance this post transaction. So in case Phalcon Block detects this malicious transaction, he will send this transaction before and front run the attacker. So we are going to execute this pre-signed script. I'm going to run it over here, and we are supposed to get this pre-signed transaction that will help us to pause the protocol. We have here two transactions for nonce 7 and nonce 8. I'm going to copy here the first one for nonce number 7, go back to Phalcon Block and paste it over here. We can also already see that here simulation successful. Phalcon Block already simulated our transaction using the Phalcon Explorer, and as you can see here that basically we see that the simulation of the transaction, we see that emergency pause function was called with these two tokens. So here we call the set mint paused function with first the HUSDC token and second with the HRAP BTC token. So we can see what the transaction is actually doing behind the scenes. And simulation successful, which means that everything is correct, the pause is working, the nonce is correct. We can actually add here another transaction. So in case someone hacks our protocol twice, let's say someone hacked our protocol, the protocol was paused, we unpaused it, the protocol is being used, we don't need to add again a signed transaction. We can add in advance multiple block transaction, multiple pause transactions, so they are prepared, and BlockSec Phalcon Block will know automatically how to run them one after another, dependent on the current nonce of this EOA account, the Guardian account. Right now, I'm going to add just one pre-signed transaction, so I'm going to remove it, and we click here next, and now we can also add notification channel to get notified that not only the attack transaction was detected, but it also blocked, and we can get notified with the block transaction to get all the details to our email, to our notification channel. So I'm going to add here my email and click here submit. Amazing, guys. Now we have the defense block transaction, the defense mechanism being set, so all should be good, right? We have the contract, it's being monitored for attack transactions that are draining our USDC liquidity, and we have a defense predefined, pre-signed pause transaction that will pause all the protocol in case this malicious transaction is being detected in the mempool. And now all there is left to do is to exploit, or at least try to exploit the protocol and see if Phalcon Block is actually able to block the attack in real time. And here you can see this is my exploit contract. Again, I'm not going to deep dive into the details and the technicalities of how this attack is being exploited and executed. We also have here attack.typescript and attack implementation.typescript. Again, we're not going to deep dive into it. We're just going to launch the attack and see if we can actually block it in real time. So now, instead of running the pre-signed transaction, I'm going to run the attack script, attack.typescript on the Binance Smart Chain, npx hard run attack.ts, network is Binance Smart Chain, hit the enter button, and let's see what's gonna happen. Amazing. So the attack was executed. We didn't get any output, which is good, which means that all the transaction, all the contract, malicious contract deployment should be working. But now we want to see if we were actually able to drain the USDC liquidity from the HUSDC token, or maybe Phalcon Block actually blocked the attack and the attack was prevented. So if we go now to my email address, I can see that I received a new email from BlockSec Phalcon Block alert triggered for HUSDC, and it's actually two emails aggregated. So let's enter. So we have the first email alert triggered for HUSDC. Guys, we didn't get a block notification because the attack wasn't blocked, because I did a small mistake, but super important mistake. I didn't tie the block transaction that I just created to the monitor rule. So it's such a small mistake, and now we can see the consequences of not using Phalcon Block, because if I click here on the alert, I will jump into Phalcon Block dashboard. So the attack was detected, but it wasn't blocked. We can click here on the risk transaction, and this will lead us to the Explorer of Phalcon, and we can see actually that the protocol lost $20,000. 2.something% of the funds were drained from the protocol. I could drain much more. I didn't exploit it further, but you can literally drain the whole 800k USDC tokens that are in this contract. I just drained 20k instead. But you can see that when we cannot block these hacks, they are dreadful, because in this case, 20k USDC were stolen, but it could be all the protocol funds, just because we don't have this feature, this amazing feature of blocking the transaction. Now I'm gonna fix my mistake, and I'm gonna go here back to the monitor rule that we just created in the beginning. Click here details, and this is super important, guys. Make sure that you connect your block rule to your monitor rule, or your transaction will not be blocked. The attack transaction will not be blocked, because I can see here in the monitor details we don't have automated defense. So what I have to do is to click here edit and make sure that we have the automated defense invoked automatically. So I'll click here edit settings and select here the pause all lending pools automatic defense that I just created before. Click here confirm and make sure they are connected together, so the next time it's being detected it will be triggered. Now I can basically that's it. I updated my monitor rule, and now if we'll try to launch the attack again, hopefully we will see that the attack was prevented and blocked. Let's try. So I'm going to execute the exact same attack again, and let's see if it's gonna work or not. Oh, we got an error. Transaction execution reverted, which is a good sign. It means that the attack probably was blocked. And now let's go back to our email and see what kind of notification we got from Phalcon Block if the attack was actually prevented this time. So if I go to my inbox, I can see over here that I got this time 2 emails. One is alert triggered for HUSDC, and the second one is the defense invoked for HUSDC, which means that the attack was blocked. Let's go inside and see what's going on here. Phalcon Block has detected suspicious transaction that will potentially cause the USDC coin vault to decrease by 2.34%. In response, an automated defense pause all lending pools has been invoked. Let's click here defense and see what just happened. So this is the details of the defense that was invoked. And as we can see here, we have the sender, the guardian, and this is defense ID. And we want actually to see the linked monitors over here, but I actually want to see the defense transaction. I want to see how Phalcon was able to block the transaction. So I'm going to copy here the address, even though it's already open over here, and we will refresh this page, and we see here 1 minute ago emergency pause. So Phalcon Block automatically just launched our pre-signed transaction, front run the attacker, which was also me, and we can see that the emergency pause was invoked with these kind of tokens, these targets, exactly like we saw in the script before. The HUSDC and the HRAP-BTC tokens were paused before the attack was executed. And if we go to the alert detect and go to the risk transaction, try to open it here through Phalcon Explorer, you can see that it failed because we got an error message. The transaction was reverted with error message, mint is paused, which means that we were faster than the attack transaction, and we were actually able to block it before the attack succeeded, before the malicious contract was able to exploit our protocol. This is mind-blowing. Guys, this is the future of Web3 security, not only auditing, not only monitoring, but actually real-time blocking. Now, again, this is brand new, innovative technology, but I'm so proud and so happy to test it out and play with it and show you guys how it works behind the scene. And you can definitely try it out, either if you're a smart contract developer or a smart contract auditor, or maybe you're a co-founder of a protocol. You definitely should check out this Phalcon Block tool and see whether it can help you to block attacks in real time on your protocol to make sure they are not exploited. Again, it's not 100% guaranteed. There is nothing 100% guaranteed in cybersecurity, but it's definitely gonna level up the security of your Web3 protocol. So in case you're interested, check out the link in the description below to get fast access to this amazing new tool.